Good evening, everyone. Kitty Coo, good evening. Inner Peas, good evening to you, Inner Peas. I know it's not easy being patient, Sal, but sometimes we just have to let things run their course. I understand though. Just hang in there. Always have hope for tomorrow, a better tomorrow. Gemma, good evening, Gemma. Welcome everyone to tonight's trivia. I hope we all had a great week. To answer your question, I had a great vacation, Sal. Why is it doing that? There we go. It tried to highlight everyone's name all at once and post all of them. I was like, what? One message at a time is perfectly okay. All right. Got that little issue fixed. I hope everyone had a great week though, and a great day today. Glad everybody could be here with us. Gemma has been a member of the channel for 29 months. Thank you very much, Gemma, for being a channel member. Gianna Marie, good evening, Gianna Marie. 29 months. Yeah, I just saw that. Make sure you're, as Kitty Q is going to point out, make sure you're on all chat, live chat. Purple, good evening, Purple. Welcome to tonight's trivia. Make sure that you're on all chat or top chat. Callie Lisa, good evening. Welcome to tonight's trivia. It is hot as hell here where I am. It is 109 degrees right now. Rayanna Arthur. Hey, Will, long time no see. Sorry. Well, Rayanna, I'm glad you can be here tonight. I hope you've been doing well. Hope you had a great weekend. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Kitty Q. All right. Well, let's get this party started, everyone. And Ivory Lady is here with us as well. Good evening, Ivory Lady, and welcome to tonight's trivia. Warning, this trivia night strictly adheres to factual evidence and verified data from the FBI, Department of Justice, and Scotland Yard whenever needed, along with court records and transcripts from trials. It does not include conspiracy theory, speculation, unverified claims about what may have happened. If you are seeking sensationalism or content related to similar theories or lies spread by those who can't be bothered to do the research of the topic, this event and topic may not be the right fit for you. It goes without saying this program documents actual crimes and offenses by criminals. Some of the content covered here may not be suitable for all audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. It's 102 over where Purple is. That's 109 over here, and it sucks. If you're not a subscriber, I would hope that you would please consider subscribing to the YouTube channel so you can be notified and catch the next live events. Without any further delay, let's go ahead and let's get ready to rumble on some trivia. First question is now on your screen. Oops, that's the wrong one. I want this one. What was the name of the establishment where the murders occurred? Was it A, the Morphew Creamery, B, I Can't Believe It's Yogurt, C, the Weasel Yogurt Shop, or D, 31 Flavors of Yogurt? Question number 1. Kitty Q and Catalisa are both going with B. Lemon Pie is here with us, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, Lemon Pie. Question number 1. What was the name of the establishment where the murders took place? The Pee Wee Herman Yogurt Emporium. That's a good one, Lemon Pie. That's a good one. Question number 1. The correct answer is B, as in boy. I can't believe it's yogurt. I can't believe it's yogurt. It was the name of the yogurt shop. Question number 2. On what date did the yogurt shop murders take place? Was it A, April 1st, 1991, B, August 23rd, 1990, C, December 6th, 1991, or D, February 23rd, 1991? Question number 2 of 20. On what date did the yogurt shop murders occur? You're lucky it's live here. It's only 70 degrees at 4 p.m. Wow. I would much rather it be 70. I would much rather it be 70. 70 is a good temperature. Smoke them if you got them. Question number 2 of 20. The answer to question number 2 is C, as in cat. December 6th, 1991. These 4 ladies were all murdered in the I Can't Believe It's Yogurt shop in Austin, Texas on December 6th, 1991. Question number 3. How many teenage girls were killed in the incident? Was it A, 8, B, 5, C, 2, or D, 4? Question number 3 of 20. How many teenage girls were killed in the incident? Should have studied, Rayanna. Yeah. Sometimes studying helps, and sometimes not so much. We can't know everything. I know when it comes to a lot of these questions tonight, I didn't even know them myself. We will get to that at the end of the trivia on how many I knew. What? Who goes out for frozen yogurt in December? In Texas? Probably a lot of people. It does not that often in Texas. They get freezing temperatures there. D, going by the picture. The Gamma. Question number 3. The correct answer is, in fact, D. D is the correct answer. 4. Question number 4. How old was the youngest victim in the ICBIY murders? That's the I Can't Believe It's Yogurt murders. Was it A, 13, B, 10, C, 15, or D, 17? How old was the youngest victim? Question number 4 of 20. Cold in December in the winter. I used to live there. How cold does it get in the winter? I'm just curious, Callie, Lisa. Does it get below freezing in the wintertime? I've never been there in the wintertime. I've been there in the hot summer months of June and July to visit my friend who lives outside of Austin. Well, she used to live outside of Austin. Now she lives near that she's on the coastline. Can't remember the name of the town. It's not a big town though. But anyway, she still lives there. 4 victims in these senseless murders, yet only 2 worked. Why did it go to number 5? I never even I didn't get a chance to answer 4. But anyways, I don't know why it switched to number 5, but let me give you the answer to question number 4 first. The youngest is the correct answer is 13 years of age. She was 13. 13. A as an apple is a correct answer there for question 4. Now on to question 5. I don't know why it did that. 4 victims in these senseless murders, yet only 2 worked at the store. Which 2 worked at the I cannot believe it's yogurt? Was it A, Janet and Jennifer, B, Margaret and Jennifer, C, Eliza and Jennifer, or D, Eliza and Susanna? You were born there. I can only get chilly, cold enough to wear winter clothes, and we can occasionally get ice storms. I remember the one that was in the news not too a couple of years or a year ago, where it froze over because Texas is on their own individual power grid. I didn't know that either. It gets chilly. Question number 5 of 20. We got Kitty Q, Sal, Callie, Gianna Marie, Gamma, and Purple are all going with C. Well, the correct answer to question number 5 is in fact C, as in cat. Eliza and Jennifer worked at the yogurt shop. Did you know all the trivia questions tonight were compiled by myself, EW.com, Time Magazine, online edition, and Austin reporter Miguel Hernandez? All of the trivia questions tonight all come from those sources. Question number 6. How were the victims found in the shop after the fire was put out? Was it A, shot, bound, gagged, and tied up? B, tied up and stabbed? C, shot in the head and naked? Or D, stabbed, raped, and gagged? Question number 6 of 20. How were the victims found in the shop after the fire was put out? Left-hand RN. Good evening, left-handed RN. Left-handed RN's going A and C. Purple is going with C, so is Sal. Catalisa is going with B. Kitty Q, A. Gamma, C. Question number 6. The correct answer is A as in apple. They were all shot, bound, gagged, and tied up. And there's a difference between tied up and bound. 2 of the victims were tied together along with being horse tied around the neck to the feet with the feet folded up. They were bound that way and tied up that way. But they weren't all found the same way, but they were all gagged and on top of being shot. Question number 7. According to initial forensics, how many people committed these murders? Was it A, 4 people, B, 3 people, C, 5 people, or D, 2 people? Question number 7 of 20. According to initial forensics, how many people committed these murders? It appears it is very sad. Question number 7 of 20. All right, the answer to question number 7 is D as in dog. 2 people, although 4 people were originally arrested for the charges of murder and were questioned by authorities. The forensics showed that there were at least 2 perpetrators who committed the act. There was no evidence that 4, but we'll get into that later about why there were 4 people arrested. Question number 8. According to investigators, what was the initial belief that these senseless crimes occurred? Was it A, a drug deal gone bad, B, robbery, C, murder for hire, or D, rape of Eliza and Amy? According to investigators, question 8 of 20. What was the initial belief that these senseless crimes occurred? What was the initial belief? Pauly Shore? The Weasel. The Weasel Creamery. I got D for Gianna Marie, Rihanna D, Kitty Q, Catalisa, and Lemon Pie are all going with B. According to investigators, what was the initial belief that for the senseless crimes? The correct answer to question 8 is B as in boy, robbery. A total of around $500 was all that was taken from one of the 3 cash registers. That wasn't even close to the amount of cash that was on hand. And it was believed that the one girl who was working the counter at the time while the others were in the back cleaning and hanging out, that the robbery was the initial reason why these robbers came in and did this. It was robbery. Question number 9. How many of the 4 teens showed evidence during forensic examination of rape? Was it A, all 4 teens, B, 3 of the 4, C, 1 of the teens, or D, 2 of the teens? Question number 9 of 20. How many of the 4 teens showed evidence during forensic examination of rape? Involvement of the Jersey Shore cast. Child's going with D. Lieutenant in C, lemon pie, and G, and Gemma are going with C. Catalisa D, Kirikou D? Question mark? I don't know. Could be. Question number 9 of 20. 9 of 20. All right, the answer to question number 9 of 20 is C, as in cat. Only one of the victims on forensic examination showed any signs of a sexual assault or rape. Only one. Question number 10 of 20. How many different guns were used during the murders that were positively connected to the actual murders itself? Was it A, 1 gun, 1 bat? B, 3 guns? C, 2 guns? D, 4 guns? I'm guessing all these, Will, I have no idea. It's all right, sweetheart. It's all right to use deduction, I guess, or whatever. Guessing is totally acceptable. So is using the internet or anything else at your disposal. If you're interested in this topic, the yogurt shop, Austin yogurt shop murders, it is on HBO. They are currently streaming a documentary about this exact case, the 1991 Austin yogurt shop murders, on HBO. So if you have HBO, check your television schedule, and you can actually watch this actual documentary about the 1991 Austin yogurt shop murders. But the answer to question number 10 is C, as in cat. A .22 caliber pistol was used, and so was a .380 auto. A .380 auto was used. That is the first 10 questions. Now we have the FBI files. After did you know? Contrary to myths on the internet, law enforcement has never said which one of the 4 teens was raped or was sexually assaulted. All medical files have been sealed by the request of the state and the families of all 4 girls. Not just one, all 4 families and the state decided to seal the actual medical files itself and will not be unsealed in the future. We'll get into that a little bit later on more on why. Good evening, Joe Talchi. FBI files, a collection of noteworthy details and insights drawn from FBI case files on serial killers and spree killers. Whenever possible, I will post musings about tonight's subject matter. Otherwise, these are just general musings. Enjoy. 4 lives were taken in these senseless acts of violence. The murderer stole $540 in cash and left behind $2,813 in the store. They only took cash, it appears, as an afterthought. That's according to the FBI files. They believed that they came in, and robbery had to be their main reason for being there. But again, that money wasn't all in the safe. There was money in both of the 2 cash drawers that weren't ever opened. In 2009, a previously unknown DNA was found on one of the victim's items that did not match the men in prison. The FBI will not say who this person is or if they are close to an arrest. If you don't get from that this case is still open, I'm sorry, but to be a spoiler alert, this case is currently still open. Yep, they left the bank bag as well, Kitty Q. You are absolutely correct. Next is missing and endangered individuals. I am working with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, the Charlie Project, the FBI, and NAMUS, along with state and local authorities. These are people who are missing from across the United States. Some of them are older, some of them are newer, but these people have disappeared or vanished, and we need to shed a spotlight on them to help bring some kind of closure for the families and friends of these individuals. 71% of all adults age 17 plus who are reported missing fall into these categories below. The rest are unknown and are listed as missing and endangered, and those are the cases I cover each week. Of the 71% that go missing, as of June 30th of 2025, and they update the reasons why I think it's every 3 years, but it could be every 4 years. But anyways, most common to least common, they move. They just move, and they don't tell anybody where they're going to. They just pick up and move. They change their name. Either they got married or they changed their name illegally for whatever reason they wanted to. Starting life over underneath a new identity. People are listed that way. Suicide and their remains are not found. Avoiding an abusive relationship. They want to get the hell out of Dodge and change their name and get away from the abuser. Avoiding collections. People underwater, especially in hard economic times, they're like, "Hey, I owe $800,000 on this stupid house, and it's only worth $600,000. If I pay the $800,000 off, I'll never get my money back out of it." Others they are dead, and no name is listed. They are listed as either a Jane or John Doe in a morgue, or their ashes, they've been cremated and they are known only as Jane or John Doe and sit on a shelf in either a crematorium or a state depository someplace, or have been buried as a Jane or John Doe. But they've collected DNA from them. They want these cases solved. They want a name for these people. So every year in the United States, 600,000 people are reported missing each and every year. Most of them are found and located within a short period of time, 90 days after the initial report comes in. You might see cases that I highlight here that may be 10, 20, 30 years old when ago when the person went missing. Do not forget, hope is real. JC Dugard went missing and was gone for 18 years before she was eventually found, alive and well. But hope is real. April at least 29% of that 600,000 people that we are focusing on here. And April Dawn Andrews, who is a real missing person, and that is an age progressed photo and a phone number you can call if you know where April Dawn Andrews is. She is most likely alive and well today and living either in Arkansas, Alabama, Oklahoma area, somewhere there. She left home because she felt like she was a burden on her family, and she wasn't. But she felt that way anyways as a teenager, and she left. There have been lots of sightings of a woman who they believe is April Dawn Andrews. So the hope is alive. All it takes is one tip. Even if you don't know where exactly it is, you saw her, or someone who looks familiar to that. Call that number on your screen, 479-451-8220. That brings us to our break time. You can now take a 7-minute break. Do whatever you need to do. Shotgun a beer, drink a fifth of whiskey, smoke a bowl. You do whatever you want to do for the next 7 minutes while I cover 2 cases of missing and endangered people. Your break does not officially start until I start reading the first case. With that in mind, the first case is Michelle Gloria Adams. She was 36 years of age when she disappeared. She is a Caucasian female. She disappeared on June 13th of 1998 in Kona, Hawaii. She is 5 foot 1 inches tall, 85 to 110 pounds, with brown eyes and brown hair. No known scars and no known medical conditions at all. Adams was last seen at her home in Miloi, I think that's beach lot, South Kona on Hawaii on June 13th, 1998. She drove away from their residency in their 1997 Toyota Celica that has never been, and she has never been heard from again. Her husband said she told him she left and she needed her space, and he assumed that she traveled to their second home in the Hawaii Ocean View Estates subdivision of Kauai. Her husband reported her disappearance on June 17th. He stated 2 days later, after he last saw Adams, he found her car parked at their second home. Adams worked as a clerk at the Kona Circuit Court at the time of her disappearance. A suspicious fire destroyed the Mili, or however you pronounce it, beach lot home on October of 1998, 4 months after her disappearance. But it's unclear whether this fire was related to her case. Her husband has since relocated from Hawaii. He now lives in California in the Los Angeles area. That I didn't put that in there, obviously for space, but she is considered to be a homicide victim, and her case remains open. If you know anything about where Adams is, please call the Kona Police Department at 808-326-4646. You cannot, and I repeat this and I stress this, you cannot remain anonymous at this number. But you can also call your local or state law enforcement agencies, and you can also call several other, there's a Facebook group you can leave a tip at. You don't have to search very hard to be able to leave a tip anonymously if you know anything about where Adams is or what may have happened to her. Next is Timothy Edmund Thomas. He was age 39 when he vanished. He is a Native American. He disappeared on 5/27/1983 from DeSoto, Wisconsin. He is 5 foot 9 inches tall, 165 pounds, with brown eyes and black hair. Unknown if it has any scars or tattoos, and no known medical conditions. Timothy Edmonds Thomas, obviously, it looks like his eyes are closed in this photo. This is a booking photo for when he was in a fight with another individual. So his eyes were actually, swollen shut, or just after the fight itself. But I'm sorry, it's the only known photograph that I could find online for Timothy Edmund Thomas. Thomas was last seen in DeSoto, Wisconsin on May 27, 1983. He has never been heard from again. He had hitchhiked from Wisconsin to California and back several times prior to his disappearance. Pay really close attention to his photo if you live or work in these areas: the St. Paul, Minnesota area, or Minneapolis, Minnesota area, Green Bay, Wisconsin, or Madison, Wisconsin, or Fargo, North Dakota. These are all places that Thompson has gone in the past when he wanted to get away from everything. He has friends, relatives, and I should also add, he has individuals who are part of the same tribe that he belongs with, where he doesn't have to use what he called a white man's name, where he would go and use his Native American name. He may very well be using a Native American name. Again, take a close look at this photo. Obviously, imagine his eyes being open. If you know where he is, He is a member of the Ho-Chunk Nation. And if you know where or anything about him or where his whereabouts may be, please call 715-284-2658. And you cannot remain anonymous at this number either, but you can leave a tip if you speak with an actual individual instead of leaving a number, a tip on a recording or on their website. But he is a member of the Ho-Chunk Nation. Harmless little plug for my merch, investigation fund, and channel membership. Creators of this type of content, being me, rely upon the support from viewers just like you. Please consider supporting the content today. Break time is not over. You don't have that much time left, but you got a little bit over a minute and 30 seconds left. A minute 30 left. See, I used part of the break time to go get myself a water. "26 seconds left." Good evening, Tom Baker. Correct, Tom Baker. It's about the yogurt shop murders. Without further delay, let's get back to our normal programming. Question number 11 is now on your screen. Who were two of the teens initially arrested for the yogurt shop murders? Was it A, Pauly Shore and Barry Morphew? B, Robert Springsteen and Michael Scott? C, Bruce Springsteen and Forrest Wellborn? Or D, Katie Joy and Maya Rudolph? And yes, Tom, I believe that is he's on the documentary that's currently streaming on HBO. Oh, Kitty Q got a beer. "1991 Yogurt Shop Murders in Austin, Texas." Question number 11 of 20. Who were two of the teens initially arrested for the yogurt shop murder? We got B, another B, and B. Question number 11. The correct answer is, in fact, B as in boy. Robert Springsteen and Michael Scott were two of the four teens initially arrested and questioned by authorities for the yogurt shop murders. Question number 12. What error has been highlighted in the investigation that allowed the killers to walk free? Was it A, coerced confessions? B, planted evidence by police? C, police brutality? Or D, psychological torture? Bob Barker and Pat Sajak. Did you know, Lemon Pie, that there is a company here in America that supplies items for the prison system, that all state and federal prisons, and the name of the company is Bob Barker Enterprises. Has nothing to do with Bob Barker from The Price is Right, but Bob Barker Enterprises. They make everything from flip flops to personal radios, televisions. They make canteen items like food items as well. Bob Barker Enterprises. They supply billions of dollars of items every year that are sold sold to the prison system and sold to the actual inmates themselves. Bob Barker. Forced to watch RuPaul Drag Race. Question number 12. The correct answer is A as in apple. Errors that have been highlighted in the investigation are the coerced confessions. Coerced confessions. Question number 13. What led police to arrest 4 suspects initially and charge them with murder? Was it A, Maurice Pierce arrest and confession? B, a drug arrest of Forrest Wellborn? C, another homicide case against Pierce? Or D, Barry Morphew confession? Question number 13 of 20. What led police to arrest 4 suspects initially and charge them with murder? You know what's interesting about this is I actually finished this entire trivia night about 2 months ago, and I had no idea that there was a documentary that was coming out in the beginning of this month, August. I think it first released on HBO on August. It was the 4th, August 4th. It came out, but I had finished this. It just pure coincidence that there's a documentary that came out at the same time that I had finished this trivia night. Gianna Marie Kitticu, Sal, and Joe Tallchief are all going with A. Lemon Pie is going with B. Rihanna is going with A as well. Question number 13 of 20. The correct answer to question number 13 is A, as in apple. Maurice Pierce, arrest and confession. His confession was 100% coerced. They told him what to write. The detective told him exactly what to write and what details about the crime were what he needed to put in there. And that stood up in actual court, and it got him arrested and convicted. Question number 14. In what year were Springfield and Scott convicted? Was it A, 1999 and 2000, B, 1989 and 1990, C, 2001 and 2002, or D, 2002 and 2004? Collection of Jersey Shore DVDs found in suspect's home. Guilty. You're guilty. You have Jersey Shore DVDs. You're going down. You, Peter Gibbons, have been a bad, bad man. Anybody know the reference to that? I sentence you to. Smoke 'em if you got 'em. What years were Springfield and Scott convicted? Ooh, we got B, 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 A, and B. Question number 14. Kitty Kid's going C? Question mark? I don't know. Could be C. Rihanna's going with C as well, and Ivory Lady with A. Question number 14. The correct answer is C. C as in cat. 2001 and 2002. Question number 15. What year did the courts rule that Scott and Springfield should get new trials and release them on bond? Was it A, 2020, B, 2009, C, 2002, or D, in 2000? Question number 15 of 20. In what year did the courts rule that Scott and Springfield should get new trials and release them on bond? Yes. They said, "Oh my gosh, there's a lot of problems with your case here in the state of Texas. Instead of you spending the rest of your life behind bars or possibly dying behind bars, we're going to give you a new trial. But first, we want some money from you." Think just how crazy that is. We have made a grievous error, and we can see that we made a grievous error in your case. We will release you as soon as you post bond. That's nuts. 83 Devil Dog. Good evening, 83 Devil Dog. Welcome to tonight's trivia. I hope you are doing well. I must ask, 83 Devil Dog, are you a fellow Devil Dog Marine? I Corps the Marine Corps. Hoorah! It was real psychotic. I'd go to these unsolved crime scenes. Ooh. Question number 15. The correct answer is B as in boy in 2009. Stacy Marino. Hello, everyone. I'm late. Busy having a nervous breakdown. Don't have a nervous breakdown. Stacy Marino. It kind of looks like the picture that Sprinkled Donuts uses. Donut heart-shaped donut. But anyways, question number 15. The correct answer is B, 2009. Did you know, for the trials and convictions of Scott and Springfield, there was never any physical evidence to convict them presented in court? The state only had circumstantial evidence and a hunch. Yep. Get that, everyone. Circumstantial evidence and a hunch. That's what they were convicted of. One received a life sentence and the other one received death. Oh, Stacy Marino is Sprinkled Donut. Okay. Well, hello, Stacy Marino, and welcome. I just happened and I noticed a photo, of the donuts, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. All right. Next question. Question number 16. Did either Scott or Springfield ever receive a pardon or be exonerated of the murders? A, both were exonerated. B, neither was pardoned or exonerated. C, Springfield was pardoned but not Scott. Or D, yes, both men on pardon. Yes, to both men on the pardon. I hope you had a great weekend, Stacy Marino. Got the spray sprinkled donut. Stay. You got the stay, sprinkled donut, or Stacy Marino, whichever. Question number 16 of 20. Did either one of the men were they ever exonerated, or did either one of them ever get a pardon? The answer to question number 16 is B as in boy. Neither men were ever pardoned or exonerated of the charges. The state decided not to refile the charges against them once they let them out on bond, and they could at some later date down the road, they could, if new evidence comes up that wasn't contaminated and brought up in the first trial, they could drag them both of them back into court again, for these crimes. But neither man was pardoned or exonerated. Oh, and FYI, they did get their bond money back, but years later, after the state decided not to try the case again at this time. Question number 17. Are the yogurt shop murders still open as of August of 2025 as a cold case? A, no, they gave up on the case. B, case is still open on Scott only. C, the case is still open on Springfield only. Or D, yes, it's still open. A new detective was put on the case in 2022. Sprinkled dog nut. Okay. You miss your dog? You couldn't say the word donut around him? I miss my dog, but he's behind me on the shelf. He's always looking over my shoulder. He's always going to be with me forever. But my dog, Lucky never had like a human food like donuts or anything like that he liked. He wasn't even really partial to dog treats. My other dogs, yeah, they love dog treats, but not Lucky. Lucky's favorite thing was Perrier water. I don't know, something about the bubbles in just regular Perrier unflavored water. He loved it. Question number 17, the correct answer is D, as in dog. A new detective was put on the case in 2022. In the case against Springfield and Springsteen and Scott are still open, both of them. So if you answered B, C, or D for this one, you are correct. If you answered B, C, or D, I'll give you credit and say yes, because according to the detective who was put on the case in 2022, he is looking at Scott individually and he is looking at Springfield individually. He believes that they are both involved, but he would not, go on and say anything more than that. But a new detective was put on the case in 2022. And here we are in 2025, and yet nothing. Nothing new has been said officially from the courts or from the law enforcement. Question number 18. When was the HBO series about the yogurt shop murders finally released after a long delay? Was it A, February 13th of 2024, B, April 1st of 2025, C, July 4th of 2022, or D, August 3rd of 2025? You know more about the John Benet Ramsey cold case? Yours would eat anything but fruit and veggies. We used to have a plum tree. Lemon pie. Good evening, lemon pie. I missed you earlier. we used to have a plum tree at our old house before we moved here, and my dog, he would never eat the fruit, but he would get the nuts from the plums and he would just gnaw on them. They're like chew toys for him. He never swallowed them. I was always worried about it, but he never did. I have a dog now that loves fruit and veggies almost more than his food. Huh. You should look into the Farmer's Dog. It's a dog food company. They basically, it's the best. A lot of people say that it helps their dogs a lot, especially with if they're older. Dogs feed dog grapes. Don't feed dogs grapes. I heard that that chocolate and grapes are not good for dogs. But anyways, the answer to question number 18 is D, as in dog, is the correct answer for question number 18. Question number 19. How many false confessions to the murders have come forward since 1991, not counting the one beaten out of a suspect by police, not counting the one? Was it A, 10 to 15, B, 5 to 9, C, 50 plus, or D, 2 or 3? And yes, there was a case where a law enforcement officer was fired, convicted, and kicked out of. He can't be a law enforcement officer anywhere in the United States because he was convicted of assault and coercion of a confession after beating a suspect and having him confess to these crimes. No, he wasn't in the Austin Police Department. It was another department elsewhere. My neighbor's dog almost died after eating grapes. You don't have HBO, Tom? I'm sorry. Well, maybe eventually it'll end up on YouTube, with commercials. I wanted to go watch the one about The Apprentice for Dean Corll. I wanted to go watch that. For some reason, in my mind, I thought it was on Netflix. Nope, it's on Discovery. Darn it. I went through it. I was like, why isn't it not here? There is if you have Netflix, though, there is a one on Dean Corll, the Candyman, on Netflix, underneath documentaries. But it's not the one with his apprentice. All right, question number 19. The correct answer is C. C as in cat. There have been over 50 plus confessions. Some coerced, obviously, by the police department. Others were given by other killers who wanted the notoriety of being the person who did these crimes. And others were just by people randomly, who had psychological problems, who, obviously confessed to it. And plus the one where it was beaten out of, and the suspect was beaten and he confessed to it. Question number 20. Which detective was accused and demoted rank, but later reinstated over coercing confessions? Was it A, Hector Polanco, B, Joe Friday, C, Perry Mason, or D, Arthur Monk? Yep, crazy people also confess. Absolutely true, Joe Tall Chief. Still the same as Stacy Marino. I like the name Stacy Marino. It's a pretty name. Lisa is going with C, Lieutenant RN, A, Lemon Pie, Kitty Q, Gianna Marie, Joe Talchi, and Sal are all going with A. Just the facts, ma'am. Just the facts. And Ray Anna is going with A as well. The correct answer to question number 20 of 20 is A as in apple. Hector Polanco is the one who screwed the case up so bad that he forced the coercions out of the two individuals, Springsteen and Springsteen and Scott. For some reason, it popped in my head Adams. I'm like, that's not right. Scott Springsteen. He coerced their confessions, and that's what actually got them out of prison because they proved, hey, you did this. So the state decided never to prosecute. Well, not at this point, unless new evidence comes up. The Shield guy, Joe Friday, is from from cop from the show, Perry Mason from the Perry Mason show, and Arthur Monk from Monk, the TV show. Hector Polanco is the only officer on there that was real. The rest of them are just actors. Did you know over the years, several big name celebrities have tried to raise awareness of this case to bring in new leads, even offering up their own money for a reward? All right. Matthew McConaughey was one of the most recent. That should read one of the most recent. All right, he wasn't the most recent. He was one of the most recent. But right now, the reward from the state of Texas is $25,000, and there is an additional $50,000 that is sitting in a trust account for information that leads to the arrest and conviction of individuals in this case. That is from private sources. But so total of $75,000. Reward is out there for this case right now. How did you do tonight? This is completely optional to give yourself a letter grade. Some people like to keep track of it. Some people don't. We are only playing for entertainment and for fun and for educational purposes only. Out of the 20 questions tonight on the trivia, I knew 9 of the 20. And just like that, boom, we lost 50% of the people watching tonight's trivia. Sneak peek, that 50% is missing out. I post this poll question every Monday on YouTube in the community tab. You don't have to answer it now. You can if you want, but you don't have to. But the question this week is, should celebrities add their name and do commercials to bring awareness to unsolved cold cases? A, yes. B, no. C, maybe. D, no opinion. I'm just glad you're back from vacation. So Maurice Pierce, the one was first arrested. He was killed in December 2010 by police. after he ran, then stabbed the cop. Cop then shot him. Yes. That is the poll question of the week. Harmless little self-promotion again. Don't have a clue yet which one of the trivias is going to be next week. I have 3 of them that are completed right now, but I do not know which one I'm going to use because I have to run, a Google search to see which one might be, more popular than the others. We shall see. Got a question? Think I created an error. I strive for, to be accurate on trivia night. However, I make mistakes. I am only human after all. If you've seen an error or have a follow-up question, I will research the question and shout you out into corrections if needed. You can email me at 411nowbusiness@gmail.com. Please, for the love of God, add to the subject topic to the top of the email, because I get a lot of people who just randomly like, I can email this guy, and they just send me like 50 emails for boner pills or for miracle cures for everything from tetanitis to whatever. But if you don't put it in there, I'm not going to bother even looking at it. And of course, the questions, and answers, up to anything will be answered in the order received. And trust me, when I tell you, I get thousands of these emails every week. So keep that in mind. And thank you again to everyone who did play and stick around. I appreciate it. I bet the families of the missing loved ones. All right. So we did 20 questions on tonight's trivia. I hold in my hand here 9 pages. 9 pages. I'm not joking. There's 9 pages of trivia questions. I've got more than enough right now to do a whole nother night on questions that have never been asked about the yogurt shop murders. More on it, and I have it broken down in sections here. I got forensics questions. Let's see here. The trial. Margaret Brown. Kenneth McDuff. If you don't know who the serial killer Kenneth McDuff is, he was once considered, someone, who might have done these crimes. But I have them broken down in several sections. If you're interested in this, and me doing another night on it, give it a thumbs up. I would appreciate it. And somewhere down the road, obviously it won't be anytime soon. It might be a month from now. We will do another night on just the yogurt shop murders. So you can study up on it, read up on it, make notes, put them aside. But like I said, I've got so many questions that I never got to. I went through. So I'll give you a little bit of an insight into my madness that's in this head here. I write down questions as they come about. I write everything down on little pieces of paper, and then I add them to a document file. And then as I come up with the questions, and then as I actually can prove or find sources that confirm the actual questions and answers to it, I then put a check mark next to it. And then I take them and I cut and paste them to another file, and then I print them out just like this. So there's questions and answers, and I put the sources for each and every one of them. For all the people out there that think that I just make this shit up off the top of my head, sorry for cursing, but there are a lot of people who do. And I've seen people who've made videos on YouTube, mocking, this entire thing. They don't care. They just don't like the fact that they didn't think of it first. No. Rihanna, it's great to see you too. The people don't remember that the celebrities are people also, right? I don't have any questions or concerns. You look rested. I am. I am very rested, Joe Tall Chief. I mean, I wish the weather would have been a little bit, more cooperative. The first night of my vacation, I mean, it rained so hard. I've never seen rain like that in my life. I've lived through tornadoes and twisters, and all kinds of weather-related things like that. Typhoons. I've where it's raining before the all it. I've lived through all kinds of crazy weather, whiteouts, blizzards, you name it. But I've never seen it rain like it did that Friday night, the first night that I left. It just it just came down. But the rest of my vacation was great. I started my vacation on the coast of Oregon and Washington State first I went to the Tillamook Cheese Factory, but I didn't get to go take the tour because I got there too late and it was closed. But anyways, that's beside the point. But I went to where the mouth of the Columbia River meets the Pacific Ocean, and then I worked my way up the coast of Washington all the way up to Bellingham, which is not by the Canadian border, and then I worked my way down, and then I went up along the peninsula, a couple of the islands, and I went over to Vancouver, British Columbia. I took a ferry ride over to Vancouver, and then I worked my way back down to Chehalis, Centralia, Washington, and that's where I played in the golf tournament. And I play in that golf tournament every year. My friend figured it out this year. He thinks this is the 20th year that we've all been going, but I don't remember going for 20 years. But he says we have been. So maybe his memory's better than mine. Wow, that was really nice of you, Kitty Q, to gift 5 memberships. Thank you very much. And Meep Meep and Tamara, some names here I know. Narsister, welcome. New England Coast, good evening and welcome, New England Coast and Narsister. Meet me. And Aaron 042671 and Tamara. Welcome to channel membership. Make sure to click on the playlist for channel members. There's an entire playlist of well over 60 different videos, shorts videos, and stuff like that. And a vast majority of them, and I'm sorry, and I say that vast majority, there shouldn't be any ads on any of them. But there are occasionally ones that sneak through, and you will see side ads. Those I can't do anything about. I'm not making anything off that. That is all YouTube advertising to you. And, well, now we don't get to see the Merino anymore. Now it's back to Sprinkled Donut. Sprinkled Donut has returned. Either way, I enjoyed you being here. Sprinkled Donut or Merino. Everybody can be whoever they want. I'm just glad you're here and you're enjoying the content. But thank you again, Kitty Q, for doing that, for gifting the channel memberships. That was really nice of you to do that. Something that you miss about living in Seattle? What was that? The sound's awesome. I'm scrolling up. Well, you enjoyed the rain? I've never actually technically lived in Seattle. I've lived in Edmonds. I lived in Linwood. I lived in the Mukilteo area, Mukilteo Speedway area. I lived, in Tacoma, but I never lived in actual Seattle itself. I went to high school in Tacoma. I went to Stadium High School, which is kind of a freaky building because it used to be a castle, and they turned it into a high school, Tacoma High School. I mean, Stadium High School. But I only went there for like It's like 3 months. It was just a weird state law that got passed. Thank you, Joe Tall Chief. Hippo characters repeatedly points to the streamer while chanting. Thank you. I wish I was. But I was saying about Stadium High School and having to attend high school there. I moved from Wisconsin, and I moved here to walk back out to Washington State. We lived here, moved back, moved here, moved back, lived here, moved back several times. But anyways, they passed a law that said that I had to have a Washington State history credit to graduate from high school. I had already graduated, technically. I had to wait the 6 months, but I graduated in Minnesota from high school. So moving back out here, I was considered a juvenile delinquent because I wasn't going to school. Well, it just happened to be that we knew an officer who would come by every day and make sure I was at home and I wasn't out doing nefarious things. He's a great guy. He was just a real pain in my ass. But he talked to my parents into moving me and putting me in school so I could take I had to go for long enough to take the stupid test to have the Washington State credit. That's the only class I took. Well, I took art as well because that's a different point. You went to Stadium too? What years? What year did you go there, Joe Tall Chief? I'm sure it probably wasn't anywhere around when I was there. But if you go down the hallway, that from the main corridor, you go down the hallway to where the art room is before you get into the art photography studio, classroom space. I have a permanent picture that is on the wall there. It's still there. It's been there since 1988. It's several years after I was there. I was there in 1988. 1979. Yeah, we lived right next to Tacoma Mall, and we drove all the way across the town to Stadium High School. I had I can't remember, it was like early 80s Chevy Chevette. That thing was a giant piece of crap. The motor mounts broke on it, so I took a ratchet strap and wrapped it around the motor and underneath, around the outside of the frame to hold the motor in place so I could drive the car. We rarely have fires here where you live in California. That's good. I smell fire here outside it, and I see a smoke cloud. They just look a few miles away. Ooh. I enjoyed my time there, though. I mean, it was brief. I worked at Frederick and Nelson's department store at Tacoma Mall when I was living there. It was kind of a fun job, boring at the same time. Been catching a lot of Will's shorts. Cool. Well, I hope you like them. They're a little bit offbeat. They're not anything like most of my longer form content. Everybody out there would be surprised on just how little YouTube pays for the shorts videos. I can put the same video that I get 5,000-6,000 views for. I might get $1 for 5,000 views here on YouTube. The same video on TikTok will earn me $30. No joke. Well, I'm not on TikTok, but so don't look for me on TikTok. I'll never be on TikTok because I've read through their user agreement And I'm not about to give a company like TikTok access to my photos, my contacts, and my GPS data and everything else. And that's all part of the TikTok agreement. It's right there. Good on gas, the Chevy Chevette. Yeah, it was a giant piece of excrement, though. The stereo wouldn't work. Not that it mattered. I mean, I think it had a cassette player, but it never worked. You couldn't tune in a radio to save your life. It was just static. The paint was peeling off the entire car. We drove that stupid thing all the way from Prescott, Wisconsin, where we bought it. We lived upstate Minnesota. I mean, Wisconsin at the time. We went down to the Prescott area. We bought it from a guy there. I bought it for like $500. I drove it over to the Twin Cities, to actually St. Paul, to my grandfather's house. He worked on it for a couple of days. They didn't do anything. The motor mounts were all still working at that time, and he worked on it for a couple of days and got it running. And then I drove it with my two sisters in the car, and we followed my mother all the way out to Tacoma. And drove that car all the way out there. She drove a giant ass U-Haul truck. But it's hard to start a fire on water. Are you near the water? We live on a huge lake. We never have fires. One of the 10,000 natural lakes. Joe Tall Chief is on one of the 10,000 natural lakes. Yours was silver. Can't remember where it died. Well, I know what happened to mine. I got rear-ended I was parked at a parking meter, and I think I was in Tacoma, yeah, or maybe I was in the Spanaway area, somewhere in there, but because I always traveled back and forth to see my friends, and I got rear-ended. I got hit in the back by a guy who was driving a delivery truck, one of those big giant box trucks. He hit, totaled the car. I don't think I got much for it, but I mean, it wasn't worth much anyways. That was burgundy in color. Burgundy with tan interior. But, well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wrap up tonight's trivia. I want to thank everyone that was here again tonight for trivia. Thank you very much. And Kitty Q, thank you also as well for donating the memberships, and for the other super chat, and anybody else that I do see. I got a donation to the investigation fund as well tonight. Thank you. I have to open it back up. I'm not forgetting you. I just have to open it back up to see which one it is. Joe Tall Chief was silver. Your first car was a 1985 Cavalier hatchback. Oh, it was best ran forever until the engine caught fire. Oh, I'm sorry. But thank you again, everybody. I really appreciate it all. And Joe Tall Chief, everybody, thank you again for being here. You all have a terrific week. I will see you all again soon. In the meantime, bye.